Welcome, everybody. Super excited to see you here tonight. Welcome to this special training that we put together for everybody. If you're super excited, give me a little excited in the chat bar. Those of you that are not on camera, do me a favor. There you are. Boom. Nice to see you. Unless you're really in and dressed inappropriately. In that case, just like flip it on and off real quick and leave it to our own imagination. Otherwise, let's make sure I can see you, you can see us. We're going to have a really great time today. This is going to be interactive, right? So I'm going to teach some stuff. You're going to communicate between the myself, the chat bar. I got my whole team on here. So I got my beautiful wife, Jennifer, is on there. We've been together for, you'll hear more about this, for over 37 years. You got my powerful son on here who will be interacting with you. And you got one of our business partners, the amazing Aaron, on here. Super nice to see some of you, Matt and Deb, you guys, and Melanie and Cody. You guys just don't get tired of me now, do you? Mike, what's happening? Nice to see you. And if you're new in my world at all, or fairly new, like you haven't really been on any webinars or anything, type in new in the chat bar. If you don't know how to use the chat bar, like just find that little function at the bottom that says chat. And I'm not so good at like doing all the like little emojis and stuff in there, but some of you might be better at it. All right, we got some new. Vicky, what's happening? Dural, what's up? Karen, hope I got that right. Welcome. Let's dig in. Let's dig in. We're going to have a good time together. Going to go definitely over an hour, probably 60, 70. We won't go past 90 minutes, but hey, it's Friday night. If you committed to show up, clearly you don't have anything else going on because you want to expand and grow. And I'll make sure as I'm talking through some things here that I'm sharing a little bit about how I'm thinking in the new world, and also maybe a little bit of how I've been thinking, or at least how I've been thinking over the last 5 years to sell two very large companies and to change so many lives. So let's jump right in here. When you see my slide deck come up, if you could give me a little thumbs up in the screen so I know you can see it, thumbs up. All right, I got some thumbs up. Those of you that didn't give thumbs up, I apologize if you have no thumbs. I did not want to make that inappropriate at all. But let's make sure we participate. You know, I'll write this down real quick. My team will be writing notes to you guys. This is one of those phrases that has changed my life when I heard it. So I'm going to give it to you right now. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? The way up you show here is the way you're showing up in life. Now, it took me a while to figure out part two. The part two was this. The way you do anything is the way your team, your family, your environment does everything. That's part two of it. The way you do anything is the way your team, your environment, your family does everything. They're just a byproduct of it. We thought the other day, myself and the whole powerful team who's here with us, we said, you know what? Why don't we test out a little model where we could do a mind power boardroom, where we could come in, give you some high level strategies, some things to think about, maybe connect a new dot, maybe reinforce a dot you already have. And some of you that are new, you're like, what's up? I don't really know you. Well, guess what? Just hang tight. After I tell you a little more about us and we dig into it, if you don't like me or like the team, we're not offended. We love you. You just, boom, hit the button, disappear. I hope that doesn't happen. I want you to stay with us. And our goal is to exceed your expectations. I want every single webinar that we do like this to be worth so much massive value for everybody. So a quick disclaimer, this is not a business training. This is a training about how to optimize yourself. Write this down even if you know it. Write it even if you've written it recently. It's 80% psychology. It's 20% skill sets. 80% psychology, 20% skill sets. Now, for a lot of my life, I've spent time on the 20% skill sets. I figured if I just learned marketing, sales, operations, and leadership, like I would grow massive wealth for myself. Not that those things aren't important, but let's stack them in proper order. I could give you the greatest business training in the world on top of a mind that does not believe it can grow a business, and it is now a waste of time and money. Now, when we focus on what I believe should be first, and I'm only telling you this because I did it not the most beneficial way for so many years, when I flipped it and started saying, hang on a minute, I got to get my mind right to get the results I desire. And I'll share a little bit as we start going into things here. And one of my greatest awakenings here is in order to have a bigger business or a bigger anything, and you hear all over, and if you've heard this, tell me in the chat bar, do you hear this 10X thing, like 10X this and 10X that? Okay, I think that makes sense. Here's the part that people are not telling you, because I don't hear them saying it. In order to 10X anything, you have to 20X yourself. Now, before I 20X'd myself, I was struggling, probably be coming up soon. Like here, our business, like everything life in business was very hectic. It was chaotic. I struggled. This is me many, many moons ago. Today, it's interesting because in the contracting world that I spent almost a decade serving them right here. I spent a little under a decade growing a company called CEO Warrior. I've helped thousands of companies expand and grow. I think in the last 28 months, our fingerprints are on over 40 decamillionaires now, over 40 decamillionaires, which is a lot. So I spent a lot of time, and what I figured out was this was me here, and I was struggling. Today, everybody's got these fancy trucks, and you think you need a big fancy truck to make money. I did make a fair amount of money in this truck, this brown truck right here. I mean, it made an amazing living, but I understand that it was very hectic. My wife and I, and here's some great pictures of us. This is when we got married. This is me. I think I was probably about 17 there, looking all wild with a big old afro and stuff. This is me and my beautiful wife here. And we started to really solve some things. I'm gonna share some of the things that we solved. And along the way, I want to let you know we grew. And we made some mistakes along the way. So please, I am not one of these gurus, experts that are out here like acting like everything was just a dream. No, everything wasn't a dream. You can see this is one of my favorite pictures here down the bottom. And if you can relate to this picture, you're like on the phone with a credit card with a baby, type in relate in the chat bar. Like, can you relate to this? And and probably sitting there thinking about 5 other things. Now, these guys, this is my son who's on here today. So you probably figured out he's not whatever he was there, 7, 8, or 9. Now he's 23 and my daughter is 20. So I've learned a whole lot of things that I could come back to you guys. I just want to save you a decade. If not, I want to save you decades of what we had to go through and learn. And today we still learn every single day. We still learn every day about family, about dynamics, about relationships. And you know what's interesting about relationships? Let me share one of the things that happened for us. And I'm hoping that you hear it and you're not letting it happen to you, is that there was a point where I was focused on so many skill sets that I wasn't focused on how are my wife and I growing together. I had every excuse not to grow together in what we really needed, because I thought if I just learned one more marketing piece, one more recruiting piece, my whole life would change forever. And it almost caused my wife and I to separate many, many moons ago until we figured out. And that's why I'm so excited when we have couples on here, because if a couple asks me, what does it take? We're together 37 years, me and my wife, since we're 15. What does it take to go to mile, to expand, to create legacy style wealth, to create a legacy style relationship? It takes a couple that's willing to grow and expand together in the mind stuff. Now, I'll just reiterate here, just so you have a little more details. look, the company was 32 million, 200 employees, 165 trucks, double-digit profits, sold that in 2017. A lot of people sell companies. I don't know if a lot of them signed their name and walked away the next day. And that's what I did in 2017. Signed my name, walked away, sold a $32 million business. I was not done. I then went and grew this. One of the highest level training and implementation organizations on the planet called CEO Warrior, where we helped blue collar companies, predominantly plumbers, HVAC, and electricians, expand their business so they could sell it someday and create legacy wealth. I sold that in 2020 because the world needed me to no longer just help people with marketing, sales, operation. It needed me to change the world with people. And that's why my wife, my son, Aaron, and myself dove in and said, we're committing to impact 1 million people or more in a decade or less in 100 countries or more. So thank you for being here and helping us do that. I am curious, how many of you, well, let me ask it, how many of my books have you read? So maybe put a number. And if you never read one at all, just like type in a question mark. If you've never read one of my books, you're like, I don't even know you even wrote a book, man. All right, one. Oh my goodness. Okay, Mind Power. Never even knew I wrote a book. Okay, all right. So let me tell you 2 books there. Oh my goodness, Aaron. So many people don't even know I wrote it. Okay, so here's the first book. And I'm not here. Hang on a minute. This picture, that's one of my favorite pictures that has to stay up there. Except this one. This is my second. I'll share this real quick. Always be yourself unless you could be a unicorn. Then always be a unicorn. If you want to be a unicorn, type in unicorn in the chat bar. All right. Mind Power book. We'll dump a link in there. We'll dump a link in there for you. You could get a copy of Mind Power. It's an amazing book, not because I wrote it, because of the results it's getting today. And the other book that I really love, if you're in business at all, and I think any business, is Secrets of Business Mastery. That's this one right here. Yeah. So read those 2 books, but any of the 19 books are really, really good books to help you. And so why should you be listening? What the heck do we figure out? I already told you, relationship 3 decades, in martial arts for 3 decades. Anybody else a martial artist? Type in like, there you go. Hey, always nice to have martial artists in here, right? Strike first, strike fast. Business building over 3 decades. Helping people through mind blocks over 3 decades. This says 18. I think we're 19. We have another new book coming out soon. And I've also spoke with like some of the top brilliant minds like Jay Abraham on the planet today. And, you know, I just put this here so maybe it reinforces a little bit, because if you don't know me, why should you even be listening to me tonight? Well, Kevin Harrington is one of the original sharks of Shark Tank, and we love what he said. He said, we cracked the code. And Jay Abraham, who's the highest paid consultant on earth, and I've trained one-on-one with him for over 3.5 years, he said, we're transforming individual enrichment from the inside out. So I like to set that stage just so you have a little bit of authority. You know, you can see a little bit of credibility here of what I'm going to teach you tonight. And then here's the two things, just free gifts for you guys. If you don't have the free book, boom, the link's in there. They'll post it a couple times tonight. Also here, if you're not in this free Facebook group, there's a free Facebook group where we're sharing all kinds of stuff all the time. Just click those links and get it done real quick. I'm going to take a quick sip of water here while you do that. Okay, and we'll keep the links in there for you guys. So you could just scroll up or copy it or do it later if you choose. And we do have something cool coming up. I'll talk about that in a little bit. If you're interested, we have the most powerful personal growth training on the planet that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. So here's what I want to know. First, who are you? Who are you? Type in the chat bar, but not like, hey, I'm Cody or I'm Mike or I'm Bill. Like, who are you? Are you a business builder? Are you a struggler? Are you a family guy? Are you a husband? Are you a wife? Are you a confused human? Like, there's no judgments here tonight, because like I haven't been a wife, but I've been all the other things I'm pretty sure that I mentioned there. And then where are you from so I know? I love to also know, like, tell me where you're from. 2 businesses, father of 4, Ontario. Nice to see you here. Aaron's from Saskatchewan. No, is it Saskatchewan or is it Regina? Regina, Saskatchewan.
Regina is the city. Saskatchewan's the province.
Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. There we have it. And then what do you do? Tell me what you do in the chat bar. Like, what do you do? We'll be hitting Florida soon, Melanie. My wife and I are talking about it. We're I don't know if we're going to live there right away, but we're navigating our way up to Florida. We are a struggling automotive business owners. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to reframe that struggling, but thank you for your honesty on that. Business owner, risk taker, wealth builder, problem solver, dad, husband. Awesome. Best place in the world? Okay. Well, I don't know about them bugs that hit the window. I don't know that yet. The vote's out on that. Co-founded and owned Beach Roamer custom truck campers. Oh my goodness. So now my wife's thinking about this thing because we were just having a talk about this the other day. All right. Why are you here? Why are you here? What compelled you to come tonight? HVAC business owner, 4 Lauderdale, happy married, father 2. Like why are you here? What do you want to hear from me? If there was something I would share about the mind, let's make sure I could deliver to you what you need tonight. So talk to me in the chat bar. What we like. I feel like a caterpillar wanting to bust out of the cocoon, but don't know how to do it. Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, right. Like, and the interesting thing about a caterpillar, I always tell people, like, you know, they all want to be a butterfly. That's the fantasy. Life today is a caterpillar. The question is, are you willing to climb into a cocoon, turn into a pile of shit, and then grow wings? Now, most people grow in the cocoon, and when they get all this crap on life, they say, I'd rather go back to being a caterpillar than change to become a butterfly. Increased my confidence in business. I'm not 80% there, but need a push. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Continued journey of growth and mindset change, new identity. Awesome. I mentor entrepreneurs, breakthrough and barriers that hold them back from freedom and joy. Awesome. All right, let's keep cranking here. So let's do a little assessment, but the way we're going to do the assessment here is we're going to do the assessment together. And you won't even be able to keep track of who's posting the number. But the fact is, you'll know what you posted. So I'll read through these, okay? And then you answer. Now, 10 is the very best. 10's the very best, like the best. And 1, you're like dying in it, right? So if we use the first one, my energy level. As a whole, your energy level, 10, I'm at a level 10 right now. I don't stay at a 10. I go between a 9 and 10, but I don't go to a 1, right? And I didn't just jack myself up on caffeine to come here. This is the level I run. Where are you? And remember, we're not impressed if you're all of a sudden you're one of those that, well, I'm a 22. We're not impressed. And I'm not impressed if you're a 1. We're here for you to create a baseline. How inspired are you feeling right now? Well, maybe not now since you've been on. You should be a little inspired. But before you showed up, it's Friday. How inspired are you feeling? If you were like, thank God it's Friday, you're not inspired. You're not inspired. If you go, oh man, I'm glad it's Friday because I got the weekend to myself, you're not inspired. If you're inspired, 7 days a week means no different. Sunday's no different than Tuesday to you. You live outside the program of the world. Oh, it's Monday. It's Hump Wednesday. Thank God it's Friday. I'm like, what? No, it could be Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, Thursday. Doesn't matter. It shouldn't make a difference. What about fun and play? Answer that one for me. Fun and play. Where are you at? Like you get to do your hobbies, your golf, your fish, your hunt, your motorcycle ride. And some of you is just like, I don't even have time to breathe, right? You're like, I can't even breathe. I don't even have time to like watch Netflix. Okay. What about self-honesty? My wife and I met with someone today. We were looking at a place for some things for food. And when we walked away, my wife says, Do you think that's real? She was real bubbly and like I was having a hard time keeping up. Or do you think it's fake? And I was like, I don't know. If she was self-honest, I think it might be a little bit of an act that this person's putting on. You ever meet that person like, oh my God, so nice to meet you. And you go, oh, this person, you smell fakeness. Did you ever, right? It's just like, you smell fakeness. What about peace and quiet? Where are you at for peace and quiet? 1 to 10, peace and quiet, a sense of serenity. You could just sit back tonight and relax. Well, I'm pretty loud, so I don't know what I don't know if you're getting peace and quiet from me. You're probably getting intensity. All right, we got 7s, 8s, 6s with 4 kids. Yeah, I'm hearing you there. I'm hearing you there. What about feeling heard or seen? I feel heard. You're in a relationship. And you're like, yeah, I feel heard in that relationship. I feel like you see me. I feel like you see me. Where are you at for that? Got a 9. We got a 1. Thank you for your honesty, guys. An 8. What about feeling us accepted and understood? Like you feel understood. Like, yeah, people get me and they accept me the way I am. They accept my tattoos. By the way, it's always very important for me to know who has a tattoo. Type in tattoos. And then if you're addicted to tattoos, type in like tattoos, right? And if you don't have any, just be like, F you, you tattooed people. Okay, tattoos, no tats. You got time. All of you got time to get some tattoos. I got some FUs on the tattoos. All right. What about friendship? What about friendship? Real friendship. Your friendship with other people. Where are you at? Very few. Give it a number. 1, 7. This is one of the things I'm proud about in our world, in the food dog world. Like we have a tremendous amount of friends. It's a place. I didn't think I'd share this, but I'll share it. Somebody said to me, like, what's food dog like when someone's in your world? I said, imagine that there's a world of unicorns and they don't know where they can hang out and relate to everybody. That's exactly what our world's like. It's a world of unicorns where everybody's like, you're doing great. Oh my goodness. That's great. Like we don't try to poo-poo on people's greatness and stuff. And if you're not doing great, we're like, how do we lift you up? Right? What about physical appearance? What you think about physical appearance? How do you rate yourself? When you look in the mirror, first thing in the morning, brushing your teeth, do you go, oh, look at you? Or do you go, I ain't looking at you this morning? I bet some of you don't even remember looking in the mirror this morning. All right. I remember someone said to me, do you remember seeing yourself in the mirror? I was like, I know I brushed my teeth. I must have looked, but I can't remember. He said, you've been trained to look away from yourself. Tomorrow morning, he said, you better see yourself. So now I'm like brushing my teeth. I got one of those things like, and it beeps and stuff. And I'm like looking at myself saying, that's you, right? All right. What about feeling loved and appreciated? That's an interesting one. Loved and appreciated. And how do you know you're appreciated? They say, I appreciate you. My wife said it to me the other day. She said, I don't know how she said it. She could tell you, but she said, I really appreciate you. And I was like, oh, that was nice. What about your environment, your home, your workspace? Is it controlled? Does it feel powerful and strong? Like this is one of my workspaces, right? Like it's interesting. I did a post a while. They're like, that lion's pretty masculine. I'm like, it's the king of the effing jungle. What do you want it to be? You want it to wear tights and tutus or whatever? It's an effing lion. You know what I mean? So what about your environment? How do you feel when you enter your office? You feel unstoppable or do you feel like there's paper and it's grungy? Let me pause there 1 minute. Tell me right now, what's something that became a new reality for you? Type in a chat bar, like what happened for you just now? And we're going to finish the rest of the questions, but what triggered for you? Which one? Was it like, man, I got to create an environment that makes me feel unstoppable? Or is it like, I got to find some peace and quiet. I got to find a little serenity. Or is it, I better get inspired and Sunday should feel like Monday to me. Evaluating self, physical appearance, relationship, and being appreciated. Yeah. Now, this is not for you guys to go back, get off of this when we're done, go to your wife or husband and say, F you, you better appreciate me. This is not the point here. This is to create an awakening, an awareness for you guys, okay? All right, what about physical health? Where you at? 1 to 10. 10, I'm level 52. Do you feel like you're faster, smarter, quicker? Or what level are you if you'll share? You could lie, we don't know. I'm level 52. I would never say 52 years old. I'm faster, I'm smarter, I'm quicker, I'm more successful. Everything about me. Where you got? Level 63, super strong. Level 47, powerhouse. 65, powerhouse. Level 57, beast mode. You know, my mom said to me, oh, I'm this old. I said, no, you're level. You're smarter, you're quicker, you're wiser. Like, yeah, the minute you see it as a death sentence, you'll start to die. Now, your physical health, right? We're going to talk about that when we talk a little bit about the mind and the body and the spirit and stuff. All right, what about this one? Okay, this is going to be a tricky one. My feelings and emotional health. Man, there are so many people living and struggling with, and it might be some of you, and anxiety and depression and pressure and shame and guilt and oh my goodness. And then on top of that, if you didn't have enough concerns, is it okay if I curse a little bit and you guys will just pray for me tonight? Is that okay? Type in pray. Will you be okay with that? If I offend you with a curse word, then you probably should leave now because I think there's points where it has to be made, right? I think when we talk about like the spy balloon, we got to be like, what? Fucking spy balloon in the sky. Come on, gullible ones. But those are the people that worry. They're like, oh my goodness, let's just make you scared, right? That's your emotional health. The ability inside that you're like, I am so rock solid in my mind, my mental health is so motivated and moves where I want it to go. Or, man, I am just distraught. And it doesn't have to be that way, I promise you, okay? What about organization and simplicity? Organization and simplicity. Man, my wife and I don't know about you, we are simplifying the heck out of our house. We have been in the attic. We've been on the first floor. We're on the second floor. We've been in the garage. We're getting ready at the crawl space. We're like, how many of you have Christmas decorations you haven't put up in 2 decades? Raise your hand. Come on. And you're like, why do you have that? We're asking the kids if they want it. If not, the garbage man's getting it. It's not simple, right? Because you have all that garbage around. What about being challenged and stretched? One of the things you probably, if you've been in my world for any amount of time, you know that if you don't like to be stretched, right, Mike? If you don't like to be stretched, you're never going to survive my world because we're all about stretching, not popping, right? When you blow up a balloon, when it shrinks, is it bigger or smaller? It's bigger, it's stretched. If you blow it up and pop, all of a sudden, that's when you quit. You're like, I quit, I'm out. What about learning and personal growth? Personal growth. This is personal growth here. I just did a podcast today, and the person asked me, why don't people invest in personal growth? I said, they're afraid of change because change changes everything. He said, well, why are they afraid of change? I said, because they're afraid they'll no longer relate to the people around them. And then I said, also, the people around them don't want them to change because people, they go, babe, I love you just the way you are. Oh, you do? I'm broke. I complain all the time. I fall asleep on the couch too early. I bitch that I go to work. You love me just the way I am? No, I've been thinking of killing you for years, right? Then the truth comes out. Like, no, I don't love it. But personal growth. It's called personal expansion. They also were asking me, I was talking about this AI thing. And if you didn't have a chance to watch the webinar I did on AI, this is not a time for artificial intelligence. It's about human intelligence. This is the secret weapon. Your secret competitive weapon in life to have everything you desire in your relationship, in your wealth, in your health is human intelligence. But everybody's running around like, oh, I typed in this thing and it told me something I never knew. Okay, it told you something different than when your dad bought the encyclopedia series. Did any of you have a father that had like the special encyclopedia? He bought it from the salesman that knocked on the door. Type in me if that ever happened. My dad was so proud when people would come over and visit. He goes, oh, come in here. Come in this room. Look at this. Look at it. Like he was showing off fine wine. He's like, yeah, this is the mega encyclopedia. What is it, Britannica or something? And when you did a report, you had to go to it, right? That was AI back then. You had to physically take your fingers and open the thing. Today, everybody's like, oh, it's the magic weapon. No. If your business sucked before, it don't suck any less with AI. I promise you that. All right, you guys got me all excited tonight. I hope you're happy. All right, money and finances. All right, where are we at? 5, 2. All right, we got to change this. I cannot have anybody in my world that is not moving towards legacy thinking, legacy wealth, legacy building. It's unacceptable behavior in our world, right? You get it after selling 2 high 8-figure companies the last 5 years. My wife and my team and everybody, we are not here because we have to. We're here because I want everybody to come with us. You got to join this journey. Let's move together, okay? Connection to yourself. You feel really connected, like you have heart-mind connection, like you really embrace and you just love yourself and you feel yourself, or you say nasty things to yourself every day. You like, you're horrible, you're clumsy. You ever hear people talk about them? Oh, I'm so stupid. I go, I would never say that about myself. You're not stupid. You just learned a way not to do something. How many years, I said, have you been calling yourself stupid? 3 decades, 4 decades of calling herself stupid. What, how painful that must be, right? How painful. Okay. Relaxation and pampering. Okay. How many of you are getting a little pamper on? You get a little massage, little nails, or you're like, my pampering is falling asleep in the chair and eating some Doritos. You getting some pampering on? All right. And we won't do something else because we did enough of these. Boom. All right. So what surprised you most? We're right here. What surprised you most about your responses? And what patterns or themes are you noticing? Give me some good stuff. Come on. What surprised you? You're like, oh man, I'm surprised. I'm a 5. A 5. And what patterns? I'm living a 5. That's 50%. I think that's an F. That's failing. That's not living a life by design. That's living suffering. Okay, they're better than the last time. Okay, boom. Boom shakalaka. I don't know what movie that's from. That's what I like to hear. I have improved immensely and I'm more focused with beautiful. I could see you guys that are in our world that's done you've done either mind training or One Life or Secrets of Power, or you're in the Freedom Tribe or Mastery or Legacy. I could see the improvement. I'm way out of balance with personal and finances. Got to fix that. Need improvement. You guys are doing amazing. You're doing great. All right. Let's talk about a little gift I want to give all of you. I'm such a believer in this tool. It's called Mind Plus. And a lot of people know a SWOT analysis and strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. But there's so much more to this to really capitalize on it. So I have one that's a model for you. And the next page is going to be blank. And you could take a picture of it if you want, or you could just map it out, but take a picture and map it later. Let's talk about this process that I want to give you. And I'd love for you to use this. If you want to be better, do it a couple times a week. If you want to be incredible, like do it every other day. If you want to be unstoppable, do 1 form a day and your life will transform like you've never imagined. Let's walk through it. So first we have like, what's our area of mind focus? My relationship with my spouse. So we go, okay, where are you sitting in this? Are we dealing with something in the past? Is it a present situation, right? Or is it something in the future like, oh, I want to live in a mansion, and the husband's like, well, I want to live in a cardboard box, and we decide it's a present thing, it's a right now thing. But what's the resistance? And if you're tracking with me, type in tracking. I got to make sure you guys are dialed in. Type in tracking. Shoulders up, laser focused with me. Get a couple deep breaths in. All right. Perceived resistance. We argue about how to discipline our children. Okay. Anybody relate? Type in relate. Do you ever have this argument about, my dad was one of them with the belt. He didn't really hit us with the belt. You know what he did? I'll take my belt off so I can show you. This is what he used to do. He used to take it and he used to go like, did anybody else's dad do that? He'd go, do we got to talk about this? And he'd pop it. His belt was a lot bigger because he was probably about 295 pounds. And he'd snap it. And I go, we'd run. Me and my brother. My sister was a little different because she was younger and she just got given everything, and it's a different story for a different day. But you used to snap the belt. So do you argue about that? Well, let's look at this. What are the three strengths about this situation we're dealing with relationship? Like, what's our three strengths? Well, strength number one, we have fun together in the relationship. Strength number two, we have each other's back. And strength number three, we are aligned on many things. Well, what do we see as a weakness, a downside to things? We have very different family backgrounds, right? One hits with a switch, one hits with their voice, right? How about this? Our childhood experience had lots of trauma. It's a weakness, right? How many of you, just be transparent with me, how many of you know that you have some form today, spoken or unspoken, conscious or maybe unconscious, of guilt, shame, or trauma from your past? And your past is everything from a millisecond. Go. How many of it? Just say me. Yeah, right? So this comes into play. These create the triggers, right? They create the triggers. Or you just have no experience raising your children. My son's on here. I've told my son and my daughter where we're at in this situation. I have no experience. You don't have any experience. Me and my wife don't have an experience how to parent through this situation. You don't have a way at your age to navigate it. We're going to have to learn this together. But let's go to looking at the opportunities here, right? Opportunities. We have coaches that could help us navigate the situation. My wife and I have had coaches since the beginning of time we worked with. At one time, I had seven coaches I worked with. Spiritual, martial arts, relationship, marketing, business, 7 of them I had. We both want to learn, right? My wife and I have always created alignment in the family. And that's why I love when we have so many husband and wives, because, not only is it you have young kids, some people have older kids, some people have grandkids now. And we can leave a legacy by raising healthy children, right? By raising healthy children. Now, what are some of the threats we could be dealing with here? Well, many competing experts, right? People all saying different things. Well, one says, shove the face in the corner. The other one says, smack them. The other one, hit them with a switch. The other one, give them the silent treatment. Other one, lock them in a room. Let them cry till they fall asleep, right? We only get one chance with our kids, right? We get one chance. So we want to do it our very best. One of the things we're most proud of at Food Dog Group is we know that we're affecting the children, which is affecting the universe. We know that. We know that as parents are changing, and as parents think different and act different, and the parents take on different patterns and habits and behaviors, and instead of coming home yelling at each other, they're communicating with their young kids. The young kids are growing up and they're saying, I see the outcome I desire. And choosing easy instead of effective. Easy is just scream, yell, slam the door, shut the hell up. Maybe not the most effective for some of us. Maybe for you, I don't know. Now, once we get through this section here, where we understand the resistance. We understand where we want to focus. We understand the strength, the weakness, the opportunities and threats of the situation. Now it gets down to, let's just get to the meat and bones of this. What do you got to start doing? What do you have to start doing today? Well, guess what? Have a productive conversation. Let's change that color out. Let's have a productive conversation. Or let's talk to a mentor or coach to help us. Like, how do we navigate this? What do we got to stop doing? Discipline the children separately. Alignment. Who has kids? Type in kids. Who has kids? Like, if you have kids, number one rule to consider, alignment. Because they're smart kids. They come to you, Dad, can I do this? I don't say, what did mom say? I say, let me go discuss it with mom. There's no one-sided decisions here. You can't play one side or the other. We don't play that game. And fighting about it in front of the kids. You know, my wife and I, and we do a lot of calls, my son and I, we do a lot of calls with a lot of people. And man, the amount of people that fight in front of the environment, all you're doing is helping program your children in the behavior. Everything they watch is a program, right? But then there's things to keep doing, everybody. You know, keep raising strong children that can make good, high-level integrity decisions, and also keep learning. So let me pause there on the process so far. Let me draw a line across here and tell me from here up, what part of this process do you love? What part of this are you loving right now? Grown kids, grandparents, that's good. You watch them and send them back, right? All of it. Awesome. You do aggressively communicate in front of our children to show that two people that care of each other can work things out. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Like, just punch each other in the face and be like, look, we're not punching each other now. Hey, if it works for you, I'm not here to change you different. Right? I guess then you're in the grocery store, you just go, fuck you, get your car out of the way. Oh, I'm sorry. You see how we did a good job with that? Right? Understand the perceived resistance. I get what you're saying, Andy. I get it. Right? We only can deliver forward based on our past programming that we have. Right? Yeah, well, it worked out fine for me. My dad beat me. You'll take it just right. Right? Like that. And then what happens is you just, you see it today, you know? It's very sad. Just last week or weeks ago, a person that was being bullied killed themselves. You know, where did a bully got bullied, right? I don't think anybody can disagree with that. The bully that bullies, there's never been a person grown up in a very peaceful environment and one day said, I'm going to bully some people. No, they got bullied, right? Hurt people. My wife taught me this many, many years ago. Hurt people hurt people. Should write that down. Hurt people hurt people. Okay, now the bottom part of this, guess what? The breakthrough. The way we discipline our children is part of our relationship, right? The way we discipline our children is part of our relationship. And highest priority action now that we want to do, because the part of this form is, what's the highest priority action? Have a conversation about it today. Let's work through it. Let's figure out these things. Now, I'm working with people in their minds for over 3 decades. So I've experienced, and over the last over 10 years, I worked with over thousands of majority men, thousands of men in their decisions and relationships and business building and culture building. And like, I could just tell you, and working with a whole lot of couples, I could tell you that if they would just work through this one form together, it would change the paradigm of their relationships. It would change the way that they interact in their world. Okay, here's what you could do real quick. If you like the form, guess what? Take a quick picture of it. Boom. Take out phone. I won't be freaky. If you're in my world, we'll just give you a copy of it because you know we have copies inside the vault and stuff, but you're not in my world. Take a quick picture or jot it down. I'll leave it there for 1 second. And then 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hopefully you got a picture. If not, let us know. We'll get you a copy of it and you can use this form. Let's dig into the mind a little bit. this is really a great segue, everybody, where we're at to talking about after that Mind Plus form, because we have three types of minds, right? We have the conscious mind. That's you hearing me, your thoughts that are happening now. Do I like this? Do I not like it? Do I agree? Do I not agree? All of that is just a reflection of this, your unconscious mind. Your unconscious is all your programming. Every single thing that's happened in existence, if you got beat or you had a happy birthday or the dog died, it's all of that. And your conscious thoughts just keep going from there to here. It just keep moving back and forth. Now, our superconscious, this is the ability to tap into an energetic mind, a field of energy, a field of information. Somebody on one of my posts the other day, they were making it sound like everything that everybody knows is from somebody else. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's was like, where's the rocket ship from? And like, I think there's a tremendous amount of things that are created that are not from someone else, brand new things. In the super conscious is where the new thoughts get created, right? The new thoughts. So when I create things today, I just ask myself, and you might want to ask yourself, what is no one else saying and what does no one else see? What don't they see here that I see, right? What suffering don't they see? What patterns don't they see? Now, the fact that I'm putting that together does not mean I got that from somewhere. It means I'm tapping into this super conscious. Now, for you, you have to work where you're at. We know that Back to the Future, remember Back to the Future with McFly? If we go back into the unconscious, and I believe people don't have a success problem, they have a resistance problem. Resistance inside their mind. And the resistance inside their mind is the things we talked about, the shames, the guilts, and the traumas. If we look at the past and we say to ourselves, and I've spoke about this before, and we look at it and we say, hey, money doesn't grow on trees. How many of you had your dad? Who was the first person that told that to you? Type it in the chat bar. My dad told me that. He said, money doesn't grow on trees. He also always told me he didn't own the utility company, Jeff. He's like, and I don't own the utility company, so shut the lights off, right? And one day when I was probably about 20 million in business, I went to him and I said, Dad, you used to tell me money doesn't grow on trees. He goes, yeah, it's absolutely right. I said, no, it's not right at all. If you had lemon trees, apple trees, orange trees, you'd pick that off and just sell it for money. So actually, money does grow on trees. And he paused a minute and he said, you know what? I just shared with you what my dad shared with me and his dad shared with him. And I said, well, we got to start sharing a different story because money does grow on trees. And he used to always say, you have to work hard for everything. I was like, Dad, you don't have to work hard. You got to work smart. I didn't build a $32 million company by just working hard. I built it by working smart, very strategic and tactical. It's like if someone else says, well, you were lucky. Well, no, I wasn't lucky. It wasn't luck. It was strategic. It had a lot of thinking behind it. But some of you just got to focus here. Let's remove the resistance from your past and reprogram it. When you change the resistance, it changes the timeline. Now, it's too much for this training. When we go through and we actually plot out, I could look at the timeline and have you share with me every experience. Tell me when you were first beat, first yelled at, a first toy broken. Tell me the first time you were excited, happy, the first kiss you ever had. And you could map that out. And in a half a day or so, we could look at that. And I could pinpoint every single area in that cycle that's holding you back from your desired life. Why? Because you're just sharing with me this. You're sharing with me the timeline of your existence, of your programming, of your thoughts, of your patterns. And that is making you do this, which keeps us from this. When you meditate, Is anybody a meditator? Type in meditation. I was just saying on the podcast, people have this perception of me because of my success. They go, well, what's your morning routine? You must get up and cold plunge at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, I would throw up if I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, but you must meditate and you must do CrossFit exercise for 2 hours. I'm like, no, I don't do none of that in the morning at all. Do I have to? I say I get up and then I go on Facebook before I even get out of bed. They go, wait a minute, Mike. You know, it's a proven fact. Guy told me this. He says, it's a proven fact. If you go on social media in the morning, you'll be less successful. So I turned around and Vicky, I said, can I ask you a question? How's your business doing? Oh, it's horrible right now. I said, you should go on Facebook in the morning. You should go on Facebook. You're so programmed to what you think is a demand by the world. Well, you should only work 4 hours a week. No, only if you hate what you do, you should work 4 hours a week, right? I was saying that about Tim Ferriss. I said, Tim Ferriss, listen, you only work 4 hours a week because you hate what you do. If you love something more, you would find out how to do it all the time. That's what we call living a vacation life, not going on vacation, right? When you live a vacation life, it's a life by design. If that's making sense. Now, meditation is for nothing more than space. It's to sit in space. That's what you're hoping for. And you sit in space in the hopes, probably most of you, to regulate between the subconscious or the unconscious to the conscious in the hopes to tap into the superconscious, a place where you could find serenity and solutions and next steps. All right, let's pause there while we go to this next page about opportunity. Tell me something that's resonating for you, an action item, something you're thinking here. What are you thinking? You know, the other cool thing while you're typing it in, as you think about the environment around you guys, I'll share with you one of the best things that I ever did was invest in personal growth in my employees' lives. I will just tell you that's one of the best things I've ever did was invest in personal growth. Now I had 200 of them working for me in 2017. And I knew that if I made them superhuman in themselves, I love all these people that teaching all these sales strategies and, you know, how to deal with objections and how to frame the call and the top 3 things you should ask and how to build rapport. I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to take a vehicle that has like broken tires inside its mind, and I want it to race against the Lamborghini. See, it's completely flipped around. Invest in the way people think, expand, and grow, and then they'll be superhuman, and then they won't have to sell anything. They'll just serve people, and people will just buy things. They'll just buy things, right? All right, let's dig into opportunity, and you guys got some great things. Invest in self, share with others, reframe for growth. Very good. Excitement about reprogramming my subconscious. Yes. Some people, just so you know where the world could go for you, someday, if you choose to invest and learn, it's not any of the trainings I'm doing here or the one I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but there is a process to download information at any rate of speed directly into your subconscious. People don't talk about it because then you would become smarter and do bigger, quicker things. The world doesn't quite want everybody to do bigger, quicker things, but you could reprogram, remove resistance in your unconscious mind, and then you could just download stuff right into your conscious, books, anything you want that would help serve you. But let's talk about the opportunity of the mind. Discover what is possible when you remove the limitations and start achieving more. Now, how many of you have started to achieve more in life? You started to really move forward, and all of a sudden, the ceiling just dropped out. Anybody happen? I remember we were just kicking ass in business, $4 million lawsuit. You know that when the guy knocks on the door, he's like, I need a signature for this. And you're like, oh man, come on. I hope this is for I want a car. Nope. It's a $4 million lawsuit. Congratulations. You have won the UFU Price is Right, right? Well, we settled at $1 million. I thought we were going to die and go out of business. Is one of the darkest times. And And then what I found out, I found the gift in the pain, and then we grew by 6.5 million the next year. Because how do you remove pain and suffering? You expand beyond the pain and suffering, right? So if you look at this diagram here, there's you right here. And there's the expansion you think is possible. This is what we call your fantasy. Like, I want this bigger house, this bigger car, live in this place, right? I want to have this beautiful life. I want to run around and have sex all the time with my wife or my husband, right? It's this expansion you think is possible. But then there's the limitations. Limitations are always in the mind, always in the mind. One part of the mind. There's lots of parts of the mind, guys. We already talked, there's the conscious, the unconscious, right? There's the super mind. There, your heart has a mind within your heart. It stores memories and thoughts. But the expansion that is really possible is when you break through the limitations. Somebody said to me, did you think you would ever build a $32 million business? I said, the minute I decided I could. The minute I decided I could. The minute I decided I couldn't, I stayed stuck for 10 years under $1 million. 750, 850, 750, 850. And we still did pretty good. I mean, back then, I was 23 years old. And even though we weren't making over $1 million, I was still bringing in at 23 years old, $150,000 a year based on what we were doing. We were working hard. And my wife and I have been debt free since we're 28 by design. We're level 52. Some of you may not want that, but I will tell you, if you want it, it's not about what I did. It's about this diagram right here and what's possible when you remove the resistance. And there's so much resistance being thrown at you today of, the recession, right? Like, if we enter a recession, okay, we've been there for like 5 months already. Like, who are you talking to? Recession is nothing more than a word that you choose to let it carry a weight or not. Some people, recession is a motivation. It was for me in 2008. I never had a down year, never had a flat year. I was like, I'm not even going to participate in this. This spy balloon, the UFO, tic tac. I'm like, I don't even participate in this stuff. I'm strategic and tactical, just like I want to share with you. That's why we're doing this boardroom tonight. Okay, are you getting value? Type in value in the chat bar. Type in value in the chat bar. And then I have a question I want to share with you a little bit we got going on. And then I got some more strategies to bring us home on Friday evening here. Okay. Here's what I always like to ask people, like, what if we could create a powerful new identity that serves you to the next level? Identity is the thing that I learned that I shifted the most. We're not talking about an alter ego. That's called Halloween. Do you get that? Alter egos and egos are Halloweens, where you put on a mask and one time you're a vampire and one time you're Superman. We're talking about a permanent identity that drives you forward to exactly where you want to get. And discover how to step into your new identity, unleash yourself to achieve more freedom and a greater legacy than ever before. I used to think people just want freedom and wealth. I believe there's an internal clock that starts ticking, and it ticks right around 40. It could be a little earlier, it could be a little later, but now working with thousands and thousands of business owners and surveying them, it's right around 40. Clock ticks. I don't know if they've been married so long, kids so long, where they start going, I got to have a legacy here. I have to have, so my wife is taken care of, or my kids are taken care of, or my husband's taken care of. So that brought us to build this training called Change the Channel. It's 2 days, everybody. It's March 18th and 19th. If you're already coming out and you've already got your tickets and flights, can you type in boom in the chat bar so some people know who's already coming out here? Yeah, it's going to be a blast. We have a bunch of amazing speakers. I'm going to share that with you guys real quick. This is going to be 2 power-packed days here. And during the days, you're going to be inspired by experts who have achieved success. I mean, we got Kevin Harrington coming out, and I promise nobody has ever heard anybody ask special speakers questions like I have. I'm proud, and I am actually bragging about that some, because I've been on stage a couple dozen times with Jay Abraham asking him questions. And every time we get off stage, Jay goes, nobody asked questions. Tried to fly me out to wanted to bring me out to China or something just to ask him questions out there. And we'll also discover how to overcome your old programming and stories. Who's got some stories, everybody? Type in stories in the chat bar. You just got big old story time, right? And find out how to change the channel and create a powerful new identity that serves you next level. We'll leave with a step-by-step blueprint. This is different than most things people attend. Most people, they go and it's like, oh, you hear about this and that, and you leave with a pile full of notes and you do nothing with it. How many of you, be transparent, and I'll put myself in the chat bar as a yes too. How many of you went to a training, spent multiple days, had no blueprint, left with a bunch of ideas, never looked at the book again? Type in me in the chat bar. I did it. I mean, I'm like, I'll go through it over the weekend. Come on, my family didn't see me for a week. I'm not going to go through it over the weekend. Then Monday comes, life back to normal. Then it's nothing but a book on the shelf. Not here. No. We will not leave until you have a blueprint. Step. The only thing you have to do when you go home is open it, read, and go. That's what we're going to do. And you're going to connect and grow with growth-minded people that also love to transform. When you're around people who are also growing and expanding and can't wait to have more and change their life, how do you feel? Tell me in the chat bar. When you're around people, which is my world, my wife's world, my son's world, Aaron's world, I mean, we got the greatest life ever. We're around people that want to change and expand and improve their relationships and improve their health. Empowered, right, Mike? Yeah. Inspired, happy, invigorated. Yeah, I love it. Okay, here's what we're going to go through, guys. I'm going to read this real quick. We'll do the magnifying glass method. So we're going to pull back the curtain and reveal the hidden stories, beliefs, and habits that hold you back from achieving the greatness you desire. We're going to really look deep on that. We got you covered. You're going to be safe. You're going to have love there. We're going to do it together. We'll have the resistance eliminator system. We'll eliminate challenges and obstacles that prevent you from moving forward. You know those things. You're like, why can't I take the next step? We're going to get to it. We'll do the vision creation process where we'll discover a bigger and more abundant future, right? How do we really see what's possible? We'll do an identity makeover accelerator. Oh, we'll get your identity. One of the things I got to prepare you for, which we do a pre-session before you even come, because I have to have you prepare your family and your friends before you even come out. Because when you go back, they got to know what's coming back. It's not going to be the same thing that left. When you leave New Jersey, you're different. Transformation blueprint. We're going to give you a blueprint to go, and then we're going to super fuel that bad boy. So I'm saying we got to have your family all ready. If not, the best bet, bring your family with you. Because when you come back, they're going to go, what happened? And you're going to go, here I am. Okay. All right. Here's some of our speakers. I'm super excited for this lineup. We got Kevin Harrington, original Shark of Shark Tank. Mike McAllowitz. Have anybody ever heard Mike speak? Type in Mike in the chat bar. He's a good friend of mine. Amazing. Profits first, pumpkin plan, toilet paper entrepreneur. He's hilarious. I always got to hide all my stuff because he always wants to touch all my stuff on stage. Mark Evans. If you know Mark, type in Mark. Badass business builder. We got Kevin Axtell coming, firewalking master. He's going to MC this thing for us. We got my beautiful wife. You're going to get to hear from her on stage. And when do you get to hear from someone else that, you know, has lived with a crazy person like me? And trust me, she's crazy in her own self too, right? We both got a little crazy in us. You're going to get to hear from her. And you're going to get to hear from my son, 23. How many of you want to hear a new perspective from someone? My son is a mind coach, accountability coach. He's working with people three times his age on an average to help them break through stuff. And then you got my man Aaron here, who's done, forget about how many different experiences he has had in life. He's going to help you look through things through a whole new lens. So you guys are going to, this is going to be the fastest, most powerful, most impactful 2 days of your entire life. Here's what you'll get, everybody. You're going to get the training. You'll hear from experts. You're going to connect with badass people. You're going to get an implementation. We got a workbook we're working on. Oh, man, this thing is like, you're gonna have to put ice on your hands. This book is so hot, what we're building here. I mean, it is hours and hours, and we tweak it all the way up to like a week before, and you're gonna get the transformation. Here's what we got for you. If you decide, if someone's on here interested, we do got some bonuses if you are interested in this. If you're not, it's cool. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to chase you and beg you. We're here because we want to be, not because we have to be. You're going to get a pre-event training. We're going to do that before you come out. We got a VIP package. It's going to include lunches. My wife and I were just at the place nailing down lunches today. We refuse to do a box lunch with a shitty bag of chips and an apple in it. If you like that, bring your own bag. We're not doing that stuff. We got good food, Italians here. We got to eat, okay? You're going to get the One Life training that you can run through. It's virtual training. It's recorded. It's a game changer. You could do it with your family. And I'll make it real simple. I'm not reading the rest of this. $864. And you get 2 tickets. Why? Because I need you to bring someone with you. I don't want you to change your life alone. All right. It's discounted from $17.28, and prices have to go up next week. I've never done a training at this cost ever. People in my world here have spent $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 for trainings. We don't do this type of training. I'm doing it because we made a commitment. Man, we will remove as many objections to help people. $864, it's 2 tickets, and I'm going to feed you lunch both days. A good lunch, workbook, everything. Okay. All right. And here's the link. They'll throw it in the chat bar for you. We'll make it real easy. You go to Personal Growth 2023 VIP experience. Get on the page, get it. I will tell you, we have to increase the prices. That's just the way it is, because we're getting down to, I don't know how many, 4 weeks away, and then we'll be sold out. I guarantee we'll sell out soon. So don't be one of those people. I'm around the world. They say, Mike, how'd you create 2 mega companies, sell 2 in less than 5 years? How did you sell one of them in the middle of a pandemic? I said, I removed all my excuses. I removed every excuse, and I made big, fast, brave decisions. All right. This is my man right here, Jason Kirby. He's one of our mastery. He's actually in one of our legacy programs now. He went to legacy. He's a whole different person right now. He's a whole different person. We got Lanita here. She's from Australia. Transformative inside her home and inside her company. And now we got to go back into some more training. If you're ready for more training, give me a big boom in the chat bar. Let's get this done. I got a couple more things I want to teach you guys. Also, if you would like to share, we'll put the link there. Please only share that special VIP link with friends and family. But if you would like to share that link with friends and family, we'll put it in there. Feel free to copy it. You can send it. I hope you'll bring your, my son has been going to trainings since he was 6 years old, probably. And my wife and I have done a bunch of trainings together over decades. Myself, Aaron, my son, and my wife, we do trainings. Last year alone, I think we spent over $200,000 on training, just the 4 of us. And this year we're committed to $150,000 or $200,000 on training ourselves. That's how important we consider up-leveling ourselves in our life. So let's talk about this. This is called decide, act, and resolve. Decide, act, and resolve. It's real simple. Decide on the action you'll take. Nothing's going to happen until you make a decision. Nothing will happen until you make a decision. Now, if you make a decision, I'm going to do it, but guess what? You don't act on the decision with power, then you're tiptoeing. You have to be able to bring that internal and external power out where you just go, this is it, I'm moving forward. And then you have to resolve to turn challenges into opportunities. So many people are seeing the obstruction in front of them instead of the opportunity. You have to see past what you see as an obstruction. Let's do a survey. Is there a lack of people on earth? Type in people in the chat bar. Is there a lack of people on earth? Okay. Is there a lack of money on earth? No. Wealth doesn't disappear. It just relocates. when we do our training, we do a training inside our group called Unlocking the Wealth Code. We show people how to see where the money's relocating to. It's always there. It's in abundance. I get it. You may not have it. It's because you're out of alignment with it. You're out of alignment with your thoughts, and you're out of alignments with your energy, with your frequency of it. You're just on a different vibration than the wealth that you desire. So when we can see things as opportunities instead of challenges, boom, we can move forward. And then guess what? Decide and take action on the next thing, and then move with power, and then go past any challenges. I'm sure a lot of you have challenges I've never experienced. I bet I have challenges you never experienced, because I didn't just have one lawsuit. I have many of them. I had 5 employees leave at one time. My general manager, that was a fun one. He tried to steal 15 employees and start his own business while working for me, even though we took him to multiple Super Bowls and paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was in a copyright infringement one, and somebody that just because they were using our computer, right, had another thing, treble damages. So that thing was another couple $100,000. I get it. Every single time I just said this, what is the opportunity here? What's the opportunity here? Tell me, which one of these 3 do you need to improve and act on more? Is it making a decision? Is it acting on the decision? Or is it resolving this thing you see as challenge? Tell me in the chat bar. What is it for you? I don't know what time it is, but you probably are not going to all go to bed early tonight, because you're going to be all jacked up and ready to build some stuff and change some things. Okay, acting. Look at this. Act, acting, acting. Okay, resolve challenge. I'm a deer in the headlights with all of it. That's good, Kelly. Don't worry about it. You'll be dreaming about this tonight. And I'll tell you what, for you guys, for all of you that showed up here, because I did say I wasn't going to record this thing. I really wasn't going to share the recording. I'll share it with all you guys. If you guys want the recording, type in recording in the chat bar. I'll share it with you guys. Okay. I wasn't going to, but I get it. If Kelly's like, man, you are overwhelming me. I'm not overwhelming you. I'm helping just force it into your brain a little bit, as gentle as I can. All right. We'll get you guys the recording for this. All right, cool. All right, let's go to the next one here. It's a pretty big one here. First, we have you. And then what we have is we have thought, word, and deed. The thought is what we're thinking, right? It's our thoughts that we're thinking, possible, not possible. This is a lot of information, or man, I'm just letting it go right into my unconscious mind. The word is what I say. What I say. Now, sometimes the thought is words inside my mind, like, oh, you're old, you're clumsy, you're lazy, you're not good enough, you're not beautiful enough, right? And sometimes it's the words outside our mouth. I'm clumsy, I'm lazy, I'm not worthy, I'm old. You know how many times I hear people? I had a martial arts student one day in the dojo. He said, man, I'm just getting old. I said, oh, how old are you? He's 28. I said, oh, this class is going to be rough for you the rest of this night. Because I was probably 30. No, I might have been 40 something at that time. I'm like, really? Okay, old guy, let me show you what young power looks like at 40 something. And that was a rough class for him. He almost vomited. We did a whole lot of stuff there. So now the word is then goes to our deed, right? To the deed, like what's the action? Now, if our thoughts are negative and they're not for our greatest benefit, and the words we say are not for our greatest benefit, then what's our action going to be? Not something for our greatest benefit. So we don't take a deed, we don't move forward, and then our thoughts get worse. Well, I don't have enough money, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. No. You don't have the willingness to change. You just need the willingness to change. Everybody is smart enough to do more, have more, be more, gain more. I promise you that. Now, if you go back 3 decades ago, right, this was a little different. You didn't have a cell phone. Who remembers, who's from the age of before beepers? Type in beeper, before beeper. Like you literally had to go in your, whoever you worked for, pull over to the pay phone. You had to push the button, talk in that Imagine these payphones today with that whole COVID thing. Like, they were nasty then. And no matter how nasty that little silver slot was, you stuck your finger in there to see if there was money. What? And there's some sucker put bubble gum in that thing. And it's just the nastiest thing on earth, right? But back then, yeah, you had to get library, encyclopedia. It's very different. When I tell people today, and I don't mean to depress people or upset them, but man, building a company today is a hell of a lot easier than it was 3 decades ago. I don't know if anybody wants to disagree with me, but I wasn't able to pick up this device, put a message on social media so someone else could see it and possibly buy from me. I had to hand out a business card everywhere I went. And when I had to make a phone call, I had to pull over. And man, sometimes you had to wait for them to get off the damn phone. And then they thought they improved it. Is anybody an electrician or do electrical work here? Type electrical. And then you got a beeper, which made you feel like you got killed every day. Every day the beeper went off, I thought I got electrocuted to death. So we know that our thoughts create our words create our deeds, and our deeds create our new thoughts. Well, what is this? The mind, we talked about the mind, right? But here's something you may not know. How many of you at your level today, where you're at in existence of your health, you have some aches, pains, health issues, dealing with bacteria, whatever the hell it is, lumps, bumps, cracks, bruises? Anybody? Type in boom or something in a chat bar. Well, here's the thing you got to know. The body follows the mind. The body follows the mind. Heal the mind, change the body. I've watched it for decades now. Decades I watch things that most people would say are miracles. And they say it's crazy. And I'm just telling them, look, if you have a throat problem all the time, I bet you have unspoken words in life. I bet you have unspoken words. There's somebody you want to say something to that you have not said it, and you deal with a sore throat. Anybody want to agree with me? My wife and I have been doing this forever, and we've studied it, and I've watched it, and I've all watched it change. I watched people in the last 2 years in my life, in my world, I watched them, tumors go away, cancerous tumors not be cancerous, clogged heart valves get unclogged. And I started to say, wait, and chakras are important, but we're talking way beyond chakra stuff here, Vicky. We're talking about the mind driving the body to the next level result, which then drives your spirit. When your spirit expands, and you can look at spirit in any way you want, you could call it connection to God, you could call it your soul, doesn't matter to me what you call it. When your spirit expands, your mind expands, your body expands, and this is alignment. When you lose your spirit, tell me what happens when someone gets broken. You know what broken feels like? Like they just deal with the most. I mean, I've had some stuff in the last decade that made me feel pretty broken, right? Some of my darkest days. When my spirit went down, my body got fatigued. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to function. My face was drawn. My shoulders rolled over, right? My back hurt. And then what happened to my mind? My mind, I destroyed it every day, and my spirit sunk lower. When I flipped it and snapped out of it, and I owned my mind again, my body got strong. My body started to heal again. My spirit started to enhance. My thoughts changed, my words changed, and my deeds changed. If there's one diagram I would give you tonight that can change your life forever, it's this right here. It's this right here. You know, it's interesting when we talk about remission versus removal. We talk about in harmony, out of harmony. We talk about frequency versus vibration. Okay, let me not go too far with you there. What's your big one you have to focus on here? Your mind, your body, your spirit, your thought, your word, your deed, or just give me an all of it? I'm good with anything you put there. Type it in the chat bar. And we're getting ready to, okay, we got one more part of the training here, and then we'll be letting you go tonight. Be done in about 9 minutes. Okay, we got a lot of all, mind and body. They're all equally important, yes. Okay, so we touched a little bit on past, present, and future. So here's your present for yourself right here, okay? And then here's you inside your past. Now, your future right here, your future is determined by our past and present mind. By our past and present mind. Write this down. Your greatest future is already built. It's waiting for you to catch up. Your greatest future is already built. It's waiting for you to catch up. And the way you catch up to your greatest future is we look at the past and see what is the past holding us from functioning in our most present. You don't escape the timeline, but you can transform the timeline. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's transformed. And you're the transformer of the energy. You're the transformer of the energy. So energy could be neither created nor destroyed. It can be transformed. And you guys can all start transforming it tonight, right here. How many of you feel, and you don't have to BS me at all, but how many of you feel a little bit different, a little more of a transformation, even if it's just the fact that you up-leveled your expansion in learning? Tell me. And you don't have to sugarcoat none. If you didn't, give me the middle finger emoji. I don't. It doesn't bother me. I'm here because I want you to feel not motivated. I want you to feel transformed. Okay, ready? Knowledge is what? Answer it in the chat bar. Knowledge is what? Power. No. I set you up. Sorry about that. I set you up, Melanie. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge alone without execution is just a fun time. It's just a pastime here. But applied knowledge, taking what you learned, just go back and take one thing. If it's, I'm going to focus on how I speak to myself in my mind. That's it. Apply that. That will be power. I'm going to look at how my mind is talking to my body. Apply it. That is power. I want you to apply these things because that is going to change the game for all of you. It's going to change the game for all of you. Okay, here's my man, Dwayne Willard. He was able, through changing his mind, he was able to make some decisions. He created $1 million outside of his business just by up-leveling his thinking in his mind. This just happened within the last year. Dwayne's in my world probably for about 5+ years now, and working on the mind solely side with me for just about 2 years since we started Food Dog. So the possibilities for you guys are endless on this. And here's the last page, and I want to know what your number one first action item is going to be before you leave here tonight. So go to, if you want to join us for Change the Channel in March, it's going to be awesome. It's 2 days. Go to Personal Growth 2023 VIP experience. It will be right there. And then I want all of you to just take a minute and write in real quick for me. What's an action item and what was your biggest takeaway from tonight? So do that real quick before we go. All right, let's read some of these we got going on here. Man, you guys blew up the chat bar tonight. Implement worksheet. Yes, the Mind Plus worksheet. Seeing the growth and change in number. Yes. Reinforcement of mind power that we've been doing. Yes, right? It keeps stacking. What did you hear something maybe a little different, or it connected a new dot, or it's a new reminder, right? The Mind Plus worksheet. Awesome. What else we got here? Every time you keep stretching, expanding, and growing, it keeps resonating out. Boom. Thank you guys. You're very welcome. So excited to have you guys here. Breakthrough limitations of the mind. Everybody, super love you. Appreciate you. I'll see you on the next training. If we could serve you at all, let us know. Boom.